Hi, everyone. Can you see me okay? Hi. And if you can hear me, if somebody could just say yes. Awesome. That's fantastic. So, guys, I have a special guest today. This is Eve.
Hello.
So,
I
Eve,
am
Eve wanted to
Daddy's
see how this
partner.
works. And it's normally Eve's bedtime, but she just graduated from university. Eve, you graduated 2 days ago.
Okay.
No, not okay. Asking you to agree. So Eve graduated from kindergarten 2 days ago. So right now she's feeling on top of the world because she no longer has to go to sleep because there's no. She don't no longer has to go to sleep early.
No one is in the bed yet.
So she's feeling so powerful right now, folks. It's amazing. You don't have to feel embarrassed. Okay, do you want to say hi? So look, there are now 451 people over here. 451, and look what they're saying. They're saying, hello, Eve.
Okay.
Do you want to say something back? Everybody can hear you. By the way, so I want to show you Eve's big accomplishment. So Eve learned to cut her own hair. So she started to learn to use the scissors, give herself a haircut because all barbershops in our city have been closed now for 3 months. I've learned to cut my own hair. That's why it looks like a mess. So we're all adjusting here. How are you guys doing? And it's 10 p.m. It's 500 people. Wow, this is amazing.
I'm gonna check if mom is in the bed.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Or
Good night, Eve.
Aiden.
Good night, Eve.
Good night.
Okay, we will now begin. So, firstly, thank you for joining this class. Now, I'm trying a new camera setup over here. So, oh, not yet? Okay, so Eve is going to join us for a little while longer. Okay, so I'm trying a new camera setup here. That's why that's why you see the visuals are crystal clear, but I'm not directly looking at the camera because the computer is here. And right now I have like a big film style camera pointed at me. So just an experiment. If I hear that you guys like this, we'll continue. If not, we'll try a different format where I'm staring at the screen the next time we talk. Okay. And Eve, hi, welcome back.
Hello.
So what we're going to be talking about in this call is the Buddha and the Badass. And I know almost all of you have already gotten the book. And if you haven't, shame on you. What are you thinking? So so Eve, thank you for laughing at Daddy's jokes. You help me feel better about myself. So what I wanted to do in this call is help those of you who got the book. You should have gotten at least the first chapter if you ordered. Even if you ordered the physical version, you would have gotten the PDF. If not, you would have gotten. If not, you can get the Kindle version. What I wanted to do is firstly tell you what we're doing with this book and what's going to be happening. So, is everyone here? And are we ready to begin? Oh my God, we are hitting 679, 681 people. If we're about to hit 700 people, do you think we'll hit 700? You hope so? Wow. Look, 700 people want to listen to your daddy. And when I tell you to eat your food, you don't listen to me. Okay, so let's get started, okay? Now, so I'm hearing some people say that they would prefer a different angle. We'll play around with that. We'll try different things and I'll get feedback. The advantage of this camera is that it's really, really, really good. When I'm reading comments, I have to be facing here. When I'm teaching, I'll be looking at the camera. So I want to give you a rough idea of what's going to be happening next. I'm really excited because Mindvalley is going to be going into entrepreneurship. I just did a survey of all of you. And what I found is that 60% of you, 6 out of 10 people, said that you are currently building a company, leading a company, or leading a team. This is really interesting. And the other 40% of you, typically in the Mindvalley audience, people tend to be at a very high level in their career. Now, we know this because we have data from our entire community on Facebook, and this is something we noticed. So Facebook takes the entire American population and puts them in 20 buckets. And you can see data on who your fans are and what buckets they fall in. And what we found is that the Mindvalley audience is predominantly in the 3 wealthiest buckets of the American population. The Mindvalley audience tends to be almost 3 times as likely to have a graduate degree. They tend to be almost twice as likely to have graduated high school. They tend to be around 60 to 70% women, and they tend to be fairly successful. In other words, they tend to be people who are doing pretty well in their career. Now, of course, this doesn't apply to everyone. I'm talking about averages here. But because there are so many people in this community here that are looking at building a business or starting a business or pursuing big goals, what I wanted to share with you is how we're going to be bringing more techniques and more support to help you on this journey. Okay? So as we get started, what I want to ask you is to put down your biggest questions. I've opened up a Q&A box, and if you don't see it on your screen, you will see it right at the bottom. And we're going to keep the questions focused on career. Eve, you look very cool in those glasses. We're going to keep the questions focused on your career, your work. So often in Mindvalley, we talk about the mind, we talk about wellness, we talk about health, we talk about compassion. But what we're going to do this time is look at how can we apply our spirit and our mind to our career? How can we grow in terms of our career? How can we break through glass ceilings? And maybe you're starting a business. I can tell you that it can be one of the toughest, most stressful parts of your life. Or maybe you just got laid off, as hundreds of millions of people have experienced in just the past 2 to 3 months across the planet. You're probably also going through a reinvention of yourself. What I want to talk about are various tools and methodologies that you can find in this book and in upcoming programs I'm going to be bringing to Mindvalley to help you get a start. Cool? So I'm reading the questions now. Now, the first thing I'd like to pose, I'd like to ask you guys is, click on Q&A. You will see questions coming in. We have 29 questions now. And if you see an open question, you can basically like the question. Do you guys see a like box next to the question? So you can vote for a question, or you can type your question. Okay. All right. Some people are not seeing the like box. Just click on Q&A. You'll see a little button called Q&A below. I know it's there. So I see people typing in the Q&A box. I don't see the questions. No. You don't see everyone else's questions. Don't worry about that. But you can type your question. Okay, so go ahead and type your question in the Q&A box. Okay, so the first thing we got, this is a really interesting question. This comes from Joe Newell. And Joe Newell asks us this: I'd like to introduce these ideas to my company, despite the fact that my business partner thinks these ideas are too fluffy and woo-woo. How would you recommend bringing it in? I think that is an amazing question to start with, okay? So I want to talk about spirituality and why for so long it's been hard to bring spirit into work. Now, firstly, evidence is starting to show that spirit and work go hand in hand in massive ways. It started really in 2003. In 2003, a series of really interesting events happened. I remember because it was 2003 that I got the courage to quit my job and teach meditation. That same year, Time magazine put a meditating lady on the cover of Time magazine. And Time magazine wrote this amazing article on the powers of meditation. According to Time magazine, it could help with skin disease, it could reduce stress, it could improve heart health. Meditation, according to Time, could even be used as a replacement for Viagra. And it sounded so crazy, so unbelievable. But more and more people started accepting meditation. It was around 2003 that, according to Time magazine, there were more people in America who said that they meditate than people who said that they skied. In other words, meditation overtook skiing, which was really, really, really cool. Now, what started to happen over the next 10 years is that meditation started getting more and more and more popular. And today, as of 2018, according to Daniel Goleman, 44% of the Fortune 100 now offer meditation for their employees. Okay, so that's good. We all know meditation works. What's the next level? Now, the next level are a series of additional ideas which I think are going to be emerging into the workplace, emerging into entrepreneurial training. And these ideas are not just about meditation. They are whole new ways of looking at business, looking at your career, looking at your life. Hi, Eve, you're back. Hi, Hayden. Oh, that's my son, Hayden. Hayden, you want to come and say hi to 1,200 people right now? Okay, Hayden says no. Hayden's the shy one. Eve, you ready to go to sleep?
Okay, but mom's still not in there.
You don't need to wait for mom to go to bed.
Okay, I'll go.
Okay. So while we're under quarantine right now, my ex-wife and I take turns like looking after the kids. Tonight it's my turn. We are keeping things really like tight as a family because there's so many changes happening in the world right now. The schools, for example, have been closed for 3 months, so everyone is just adjusting to a new reality. Okay, so what I was saying is this: new forces are coming into the workplace. Now, the first new thing that is going to be entering the workplace in a massive way is intuition. So I want to share with you something really interesting. And Joe, this is sparked by your question, okay? So this is a way you can explain it to your business partner. There's a famous scientist by the name of Professor John Mihalaski. Mihalaski worked at the Newark College of Engineering, and he decided to do an experiment to see if there was a correlation between a CEO's intuitive ability and profitability in the company. Now, what Mihalaski found is that he would take CEOs and he would do the Xenocard test. If you don't know what that test is, have you guys seen the movie Ghostbusters? When Ghostbusters, that famous 1984 movie, starts, there is this amazing scene of Bill Murray doing a psychic test, right? He's testing out students in an underground laboratory on psychic ability. So that's the standard Xena test for psychic ability. Basically, they hold up 5 cards. You have to guess what's on the card: square or wavy line or triangle. So you'll remember it from Ghostbusters. Everyone has seen Ghostbusters. Now, what Mihalaski found is that certain CEOs would score above average when it came to intuition. But what was interesting is that certain CEOs will score below average. So if I held up 5 cards to you, and you don't know what these cards are, but you know it's one of the 5 options, obviously your odds of guessing correctly are going to be what? 20%, right? 20%. But there were CEOs who, oddly, would guess lower than 20%. In short, they were second guessing themselves. They had, in a way, a reverse intuition. There was something about their self-esteem, something about what they were self-sabotaging themselves. And I want to share this with you because I want you to understand intuition is real, but the opposite of it is also real. You can have intuitive hits, but because you have low self-esteem or you're self-sabotaging yourself, you choose not to listen to your intuition. Now, what Professor Mihalaski found is that there was a direct correlation between company profit and intuition. In short, the higher your intuition, the higher the profits of the company. So some of you are asking, how do you spell Mihalaski? Well, you can find this book. He wrote a book on Amazon called Executive ESP. Search for the book, Executive ESP, and you will find Mihalaski. And if you want to go deep into the work, you'll find it. Yes, thank you, Roseanne, for typing Mihalaski. So that's the first thing I want you to understand. Intuition in the workplace is a real thing. Now, how do you develop intuition? Well, all of you, since you're part of All Access, you have a full, complete access to the Silva Ultramind system. If you want to go deep into the intuition, definitely take that program. So the Silva Intuition, the Silva Ultramind system is a 2-day seminar. And it was this seminar that I wrote about in the Code of the Extraordinary Mind. You might remember my story of being able to move my hand down the yellow pages and get impulse and insights on who to call when I was back in sales. The class I took was Silva Ultramind. Now, back then, for whatever reason, I didn't get the rights to write about it in my book. But now, what happened is that Jose Silva passed away. His family approached me, and they asked me to revive Jose Silva's work, be the new face of Silva. And so the Silva Ultramind system is now part of All Access. You have it completely free, okay? It is a powerful tool. It's a 2-day seminar. But what we have done is we've put it in a quest format. So you take it over 30 days, and it's about 10 to 15 minutes a day. At the end of taking this class, Silva Ultramind, what starts to happen is that you start experiencing waking intuition. Now, waking intuition looks like this. I'll give you an example. I was negotiating a partnership, right? And there was something I wanted to show this person I was negotiating with. But before I could share my screen with that person, I instantly got a message that said, don't show it. And so I paused and I hesitated. Likewise, I'll be interviewing someone and I'm so excited about them and I'm about to make them an offer and I will get an intuitive impulse. Don't. And these impulses are so rapid, they are so firm that I've learned to listen to them because always inevitably they've been right. That is what we mean by waking psychic ability. But what you find is that as you start cultivating this, you're able to channel this into creation, into ideas, into new insights. Very often you'll find that these insights come to you as you're meditating or early in the morning or before going to bed, but it's all intuition. So this is the first idea that is going to become huge in business. Businesses now are only just waking up to meditation. Intuition in the workplace is going to be the second big thing. Okay, so what I want you to do is if you find this idea on intuition interesting, make it a point to go through Silver Ultramind. The total time you will need over 1 month to complete the entire program is about 18 hours. I'm not saying it's easy, right? It's 18 hours over 1 month. If you actually, no, it's not, it's less. My bad, I calculated wrong. It's about 15 hours over 1 month. So it's about half an hour a day. But I can tell you it will make a dramatic impact in your life. We already have 7,000 people in the online community, and you guys are totally going to love it. So I would recommend that. Now, let's go to Joe Newell's question because it spins from that. How do you introduce these ideas to your team? How do you introduce these ideas to people who might doubt you? So now I want to introduce you to a really interesting concept by the philosopher Ken Wilber. I don't talk about it in the Buddha and the Badass, but it is based on this concept that I decide what programs to bring to Mindvalley. And it is based on this concept that I decide what new ideas to introduce to you guys, to our community. You see, there are ideas out there which are so radical, so crazy, that if I put it in Mindvalley, it would turn some of you off. And I kid you not, I hired 2 programmers to work on improving part of our platform. Recently, I hired 2 programmers 2 days ago. And one turned me down because that programmer said, I don't believe what Marissa Peer is claiming. You guys are cheating people. Marissa Peer is claiming that you can hypnotize yourself and heal disease. That is phony, that is fake. It's not true. So I respectfully said, all right, it's fine. We don't have to work together. Now, he was upset because he had read that somewhere there was an article about Marissa Peer, and it was about how Marissa Peer had used hypnotherapy to help people reverse cancer. Now, the fact is that's actually real. Mindvalley wouldn't put stuff out if it was mythology. We were talking about Silva, right? Do you know John Mihalaski of the, not John Mihalaski, Okal Simonton of the Simonton Cancer Institute used Silva method to train cancer patients to put cancer in spontaneous remission. And he used patients who were given 12 months to survive. And on average, those patients lasted 24 months. And out of some 150 patients, the exact stats are in the Silva program, 12 to 20 of them, again, I can't remember the exact number, but it was around 12 to 20, their cancer completely disappeared. Now, what they were using was imagery therapy, and that imagery therapy was derived from Silva. Okal Simonton said about the Silva system, it is the single most powerful tool I have to offer patients. So my point is, it's real. We have the data. We have literal data from a cancer researcher, one of America's top cancer researchers. Yet this programmer still refused to actually take a job because he believed that this was untrue. So what's going on there? Well, Ken Wilber explains it this way, and this could be what Joe Newell's partner is experiencing, or what your employees or what your partner might be facing. And that is, it's called post-rational versus pre-rational spirituality. So let me explain this, okay? So in integral theory, Ken Wilber explains that our consciousness observes the world in different ways. It's called spiral dynamics. And different cultures, different epochs of human society, we are trained to see the world in different ways. If you go back 2,000 years ago, most people saw the world in the form of magical thinking. They believed if you build this particular Greek altar and pray to Zeus, your wishes can be answered. The further back in history you go, the more magical thinking you see. Now, what happens is that in around 400 to 400 AD to the Renaissance, religious thinking emerged. And this is where people stopped believing in magic, but they started believing in a higher power. Now, nothing wrong with that. Religious thinking has its place, but if taken to an extreme, it can result in fundamentalism. So religious thinking, you don't believe in magic. That's why they burnt the witches. Okay, they burnt the witches because magic was no longer a thing. But a God looking down on you, deciding your fate, that was real. So that's religious thinking. And today in the world, roughly 30% of people are still at that level. And again, no judgment there. We're not saying anything is wrong at that level. But that level looks at the world through a specific lens. Now, there's another level above that. So Ken Wilber doesn't want to give numbers to these levels because he doesn't want to make you think that, oh, there's a next level and a next level and a next level. So he uses colors. So religious thinking is red. Okay, he uses the color red. There's a level above that, which is blue. Blue is like really nationalistic, patriotic thinking. The people the people walking around right now, okay, waving American flags, criticizing the protesters, the people who are protesting Black Lives Matter, they would probably be at the blue level. Again, I'm not putting judgment on anyone. I'm saying at the blue level, your loyalty is to flag and country more than it is to God. Now, there's a level above that. That's the orange level. At the orange level, your loyalty is to commerce. Orange level is Wall Street. Orange level is Silicon Valley. And there's another level that people have more recently moved into in human society, and that is the green level. The green level is where most Mindvalley people are. Your loyalty is to exploring consciousness and planet Earth. Now, there's a level above green, but here's the thing that Ken Wilber says. At whatever level you're at, red, highly religious, orange, commerce, blue, patriotism, green, kumbaya consciousness, you will see the world through that level, and you will judge people at other levels as being silly. And so the religious right will look at you guys who are primarily green and label you guys silly because you guys wear a crystal around your neck. People who are orange, the commerce level, will look at the people in the red states, the flag wearing blues, and say that those people are silly. And likewise, when you look at what's happening in America right now, and you see you see the political divide, often it's really a divide of different levels of consciousness. So each level labels the other level as silly or deluded. If you want to go deeper into this, read the book Trump and the Post-Truth World by Ken Wilber. It is not, by the way, an anti-Trump book. It's not in any way a political book, but it talks about the changing levels of consciousness across America and what it means. Okay, now let's go into what's going on here. If you are at the level of blue or the level of orange, here's what happens. Now, these are post-rational levels. Now, what this means is that at a certain level in human society, due to a deeper connected world, due to emerging technologies, rational thinking suddenly became a thing. And so Silicon Valley, Wall Street, in the 80s, in the 90s, in the early 2000s, what happened is they decided that truth was science, that anything that science said was absolutely truth. And they would look down at the people at the red level, the religious people, and go, my God, these people are clueless. There is no evidence that going to church will heal your life. There is no evidence that there's such a thing as sin. But here's the mistake. If you're looking at, remember, if your level, you only see the world from that level. If you're at orange, the level of Silicon Valley and the level of Wall Street, you look at the religious people and you label them as goofy. Ken Wilber literally says, you will label other levels as goofy. But they couldn't see the level green. They couldn't see green. And so they started labeling meditation as goofy, yoga as goofy, Osho as goofy, Paramahansa Yogananda as goofy. Anything that had to do with meditation was labeled as cultish. I still have people telling me today, yesterday, there was a young Swedish kid, 21 years old, who won a competition, and I had a one-on-one with him for like 30 minutes. Wonderful, wonderful kid. And he was telling me that his brother makes fun of him because he meditates, because his brother said he has joined a cult, right? Because he's moved to green, but his brother is orange. So people at the orange level, they confuse two different things. They confuse the religious right with modern spirituality. They label both as goofy. And this is why so many people sometimes have a hard time embracing spiritual truth. They have a hard time embracing meditation, embracing intuition, embracing the stuff that many of us would be comfortable talking about. It's because at the orange level, you cannot, yes, I see someone mentioning Claire Graves, spiral dynamics. At the orange level, you cannot understand that there's a red and a green. There's a religious level and a spiritual but non-religious level. You label both as magical thinking. Now, here's what happens, right? You have to be very aware of how science is moving, because people at the orange level, they pay attention to science. When Time magazine put meditation on the cover, all of a sudden, people started seeing that there is this new thing that's not religion, but it's not magical thinking either. And meditation has moved in that direction. More and more people, from Ray Dalio in his book Principles to Yuval Hariri, who wrote Sapiens, start speaking about meditation. And now meditation has become a thing. So yeah, I see the spiral dynamics fans going really deep into this. So what happens is this: when we are introducing anything to Mindvalley, we now work with over 100 companies. We work with many massive organizations. The US Air Force is now using Mindvalley. We are so excited about that. We are in talks with massive global organizations. I cannot say the name yet, but these are some of these are massive, like government, world-changing level. But in those global organizations, not everyone is going to be green. They're going to be people who are orange. So if I put in something like Tantra into Mindvalley, people, we may trigger some people. If I talk about waking psychic ability in Mindvalley, we will trigger people. If I talk about healing other people, energy healing with Mindvalley, we will trigger people. So we speak in code. We don't say psychic ability. We say waking intuition. We don't say tapping into the delta level of mind to bend reality. We say accessing altered states, because altered states is a thing. You can measure that with an EEG machine. So you have to understand, we are talking in code. We are talking in code, and we are very, very, very careful about what we say. Now, when you introduce these ideas to your team, you too have to talk in code. Now, the thing is, has Mindvalley gone away from crystals and breathwork and holotropic breathing? No, you will find that in a separate brand we created called Soulvana. Download the Soulvana app. All our spiritual programs are now there. Soulvana is where you go crazy woo-woo. And we've made it super, super, super cheap. So, I'll give you an example. Christy Marie Sheldon's Love or Above, right? Christy Marie Sheldon's Love or Above was a $100 program. It's now on Soulvana, Soulvana. It's now on Soulvana with as part of the overall subscription, which I think is like $99. So for the price of one spiritual program, everything is there. So we selectively had to move a lot of these things out of Mindvalley, because I understand the nuances of language. You have to learn the same thing, which is why in the Buddha and the Badass, I speak in code. Have you noticed? So let's look at what's happening over here, okay? And let me teach you the code, because when you see the code, you start to transform the way you think. Let's go here, your soul print, okay? So I used a new word, your soul print, because if I say, listen to your soul, it will trigger people. It will literally trigger people, because what I'm talking about here, ideas that stem from my belief in reincarnation, my belief that your soul chooses your body. Let's go on to the next one, attract your allies. Now this one is more personal growth applied to business. Become unfuckwithable. Okay, I used a meme that has become popular on the internet, but what we are really talking about here is Marissa Peer's techniques of self-esteem and hypnotherapy. Again, speaking in code. Let's go down here to activate your inner visionary, right? Here, what we are really talking about is manifesting, but we're speaking in code. When I talk about upgrading your identity, I'm literally talking about subconscious programming, but again, speaking in code. And when I talk about bend reality, what do you think I'm speaking about? I'm literally speaking about the law of attraction. I'm speaking about law of attraction. I'm speaking about manifesting. Okay, so all of that is there. Now, all of this is in Mindvalley, but it's speaking in code. So for example, tons, so many of you guys said law of attraction. Where is that? Yes, it's there. It's in this book, but we go way beyond what is in The Secret. Remember, many of the teachers in The Secret, from Lisa Nichols to Bob Proctor to Michael Beckwith, are all my friends. They helped me build Mindvalley. Bob Proctor was our first author. Michael Beckwith is the most referenced person in this book. So you want to know the modern version of The Secret and applying it to work? It's here with the same teachers. Lisa Nichols is here. Marie Diamond is my mentor. So almost half the teachers you see in The Secret are actually now in Mindvalley. But what are we doing with their philosophy? We're getting it out to the world. We're getting it out to the world, and we're doing it in a way where it's becoming acceptable. So that's what's going on there. So the Buddha and the Badass is really manifesting for the business world. Now, I needed to explain and go deep into that, because not everyone here on All Access is going to be into the word manifesting. But I hope at least seeing how I explained it here, you might have an open mind. Okay? Now, let's go on to the next question. So the first key idea over here is you must understand worldviews. It is because there are different worldviews. No matter what company you run, there will be people who are blue. There will be people who are red. There will be people who view the world from the orange lens and people who view from the green lens. Now, where do you play? You have to get to what is called integral, or purple or turquoise. Purple or turquoise integral is where you can speak to all four. You can understand all four, and you can see the benefits that all four give you. For example, can you think of the benefits of nationalism? I'm not saying nationalism alone is good, but nationalism in a way there are benefits to it. In short, it allows you to preserve the culture of a country. You can also see the benefits of the religious mindset. People who are religious tend to thrive in community. They tend to be happier scientifically. So you can see the benefits of all, and you can use the advantages of all of these worldviews, but also reject the distortion from all of these worldviews. That's what it means to get to integral. Now, to help you get to integral, one of the things that's going to happen is that this year, in probably around 5 months, Ken Wilber will be joining Mindvalley, and we'll be bringing Ken Wilber's program into All Access. I cannot wait for this, because he is such an influential philosopher, and you're going to get access to Ken Wilber's work. So I can't wait to put you guys in that. Once you learn Ken Wilber's stuff, you literally have a new lens of viewing the world. And what this means, have you guys ever seen Iron Man with his augmented reality Jarvis, which lets him see the world through a lens which gives him information on what's going on and what he needs to do and what he needs to target? Ken Wilber teaches you how to naturally see that by giving you mental models for viewing the world. Okay, so that is where we're going. Now, so first key idea we spoke about, intuition. And I showed you a part on how you can train your intuition. Second idea we spoke about from the Buddha and the Badass is the concept of speaking in code, the concept of understanding different worldviews and knowing how to converse and play with these worldviews. And this is why, even in my office in Mindvalley, I do not teach meditation. I don't put up a class and say, guys, come learn from me, I'll teach you manifesting. I did that maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And what I found is that it actually made some people uncomfortable, because I cannot expect that all 400 of the people who work at Mindvalley are going to share my worldview. I employ people from 60 countries, and maybe you also have a diverse team. To respect diversity means to not force your worldview onto someone. This is why I'm so careful about that, and which is why I want to ask you to be careful about that as well as you're introducing this to your team. So you want to speak in terms of science. You can talk about meditation, you can talk about yoga, and Mindvalley All Access is perfect because everything there, we have the science. But you can't just take a chakra healing program and push that on your team. You get what I mean? Okay, now let's talk about how to go through the book. Now, firstly, there's something really cool coming up, and I wanna share that with you. If you have a chance, go to mindvalley.com/work. This is the newest program coming on to Mindvalley. So it's a new program coming on to Mindvalley, and it's going to be available in all access in January. So because mindvalley.com/work, you can read what the program is about. I'm actually going to share my screen right now. And you don't have to buy this. This is going to be available for you, okay? So let me just quickly show you what's going on here. So this is a new program called mindvalley.com Be Extraordinary at Work. It is the sequel to the Be Extraordinary program, which I know many of you have taken and love. This one takes ideas from the Buddha and the Badass, and through 12 hours of coaching by me, you learn how to apply this into your workplace. I believe that this program will increase your productivity by at least 50% in the next 6 months, which means in about 4 hours, you get to do what once took you 8 hours, because you're able to process at a faster rate, ideate at a faster rate, leverage altered states of mind. You're able to steer your work and your career to be in alignment with your soul, so magic and things move with ease. The entire program is here. So as you know, I train many sports stars, right? Like many, and it's not even that I go out there and seek sports stars. They just find my work, they apply these principles. And why so many sports stars? Right now I have people following me from every major American sports team. Is because when you play sports and you apply this in your life, you instantly see the points change. Sports people are extremely aware of timing, point changes, performance. They're more aware of their performance in seconds than we are. And so when you apply these techniques from BE into your life in sports, you see the results, which is why you see so many sports people over here. But the same thing applies to entrepreneurs, the business people. So the program follows the chapters of the book. Now, you're going to get this in November, December, or January, sometime around then. Now, let me explain. Because we're in quarantine, I was not able to film this program as a quest. So I have to experiment with a whole new way of developing programs. I don't have the big studio. I don't have a film crew. So this program is launching as a series of Zoom coaching calls. Now, you don't have to join the Zoom coaching calls. They are not included in All Access. You get the coaching calls because All Access includes Quest, but it doesn't include these Zoom coaching calls. You can get these coaching calls if you get 5 copies of the book. So if you buy 5 copies of Buddha and Badass from mindvalley.com/Buddha Badass, you get the coaching calls. Now I'm using these coaching calls to refine the ideas, to interact with students, to see questions. So if you think that that is great and you want to be part of the coaching calls, jump in, buy 5 copies of the book. You'll get Mindvalley Be Extraordinary at Work completely free. If you don't care about the coaching calls, if you don't have a rush to do this, don't worry about it. Just buy 1 copy of the book, and we will give you the quest in November, December. So what happens is after I do the coaching calls, all of that content goes through a process of refinement. It turns into a quest, and the recordings will go out. Okay, so that's how that works. So again, if you enjoy being live with me, definitely get 5 copies of the book and get on this. If not, don't worry, you're getting this free, but as a recording in November when we finish the editing and stuff as part of Mindvalley All Access. Now let's see what this covers, okay? So a lot of this is also in the book, but what we're gonna do in this program is I'm gonna take you through guided exercises and methodologies. So rather than just read the book, we're gonna go through a process. You're going to end up with pages and pages and pages of insights, visions, ideas, like drawings that unveil your soul, your soul print. So I want to give you an idea of what we're going to cover, because what I explain here is the same for Be Extraordinary, and it's the same Be Extraordinary at Work, and it's the same for the book. The first thing we're going to be looking at is identifying your soul print and attracting your allies. Now, if you have the book, this is chapter 1 and 2. So what you're going to learn here is a concept to go deep within your soul and understand why your soul chose this body. Obviously, many of you have experienced pain in your life. Why did you experience that pain? What was the lesson in the pain? You will see how your pain can sometimes be breadcrumbs to discovering your mission. And so you go deep, you peer into your pain, and you turn that pain into a superpower. The concept is really beautiful, and I learned it from a Sudanese refugee. We'll be taking you through that. And his name is Dreama Starlight. I might even bring him onto the program. Now, after you find your soul print, you try to find other people and attract to you other people who share a similar soul print. Now, here's the interesting thing. I teach a practical technique here called writing your manifesto, but there's actually a metaphysical aspect to this. As you identify your soul print, as you start putting your manifesto into paper, you don't even have to publish that manifesto. The right people, other people who share your soul print, will start gravitating into your life. It is a beautiful system. But again, I can't say that because I want businesses buying this book. So I can't say, I'm going to teach you how to do magic and magically make the right people appear into your life. Remember what I said, speaking in code. Okay? So that's just week 1. 2 hours of training with me and maybe another 1 or 2 hours just by yourself. Then we go on to part 2, which is spark deep connections and create win-win relationships. So here, what you're going to learn is as you attract people into your life, whether they are partners or clients, how do you create these powerful connections with people? So I have different layers of networks and tribes. Maybe you've been to A-Fest. That's one massive network of entrepreneurs that come with me to beautiful locations to explore personal growth. Many of them have become my closest friends in the world. I have another network of teachers, healers, coaches in cities around the world. When I show up, I bring 100 of them together at a time. I have another network that is the team supporting Mindvalley, and another network that is 40-something top Mindvalley teachers who are like family to me. So you're going to learn how to create these networks of allies so that when you have ideas, when you have missions, you can get them out to the world rapidly. You're creating different cultural combinations and creating a method where you are deeply connected to people. I'm even going to show you specific tools I use that you can sign up for and how I've hacked the software tools and so on to create these networks. So all of that you will learn in the program. Now, again, I'm not trying to pitch you on this program. You're going to get this free. But by going through this, you will also understand what is in the book. So now we have come to chapter 3. Next, we go to becoming an unfuckwithable masterpiece. So here, what you're going to learn is how, after you find your vision, to be so committed to that vision that nothing can hold you back. Now, what this means is that you gain a powerful confidence in who you are. Criticism, people who don't believe in you, failure doesn't stop you. You learn how to develop ultimate grit. Becoming an unfuckwithable masterpiece simply means this. What I mean by masterpiece is you're living life in your own way. You're not a photocopy, you're an original painting. And what I mean by unfuckwithable is that criticism doesn't hold you back. Road bumps do not hold you back. But you also do not need praise, because if you rely on praise to soothe your ego, you get addicted to that. And if you want to do something revolutionary in the world, often you shouldn't accept praise because people are not going to understand you, nor are they going to appreciate you because you're questioning society's norms. That's the essence of becoming unfuckwithable. When you want to create change, you got to learn to be immune to criticism, to be committed to your own visions for the world. That is what we do in week 3. We now go to week 4. And week 4 is about finding your mission, using your stand, and using the power of boldness. Here, you're going to go deep into the work of Martin Luther King. I'm a big MLK fan. And here, I'm hoping to kick the butts of many people who are in greed. Now, let me tell you something, okay? We spoke about spiral dynamics. There is a dark side to every color. And the dark side to greed is complacency. Too many people at the green level, coaches, healers, teachers, are broke. They are honestly broke. They have a misunderstanding of money, or they judge money as being bad, or they think becoming rich is somehow wrong, and they are broke and they are suffering. And that's one of the things that we're looking to shake up here. But there's another dark side to greed. It is the, and to understand it, I got to read you a quote from MLK. So Martin Luther King said, "Power without love is reckless and abusive." And we understand that. Power from authoritarian with no love can be reckless, can be abusive. We've seen politicians across the world play that game. But Luther also said this: love without power is sentimental and anemic. If you're just all about love and you're afraid to piss people off, or you're afraid to speak up, or you're afraid to get political, it's sentimental and anemic. Rosa Parks wasn't like that. She refused to budge from that seat. Martin Luther King wasn't like that. The Black Lives Matter protesters, they are not like that. Love without power is sentimental and anemic. And there was a Jewish philosopher called Adam Kahane who analyzed that. And he wrote a book about it called Power and Love. And this is what he said. He said, you know what is the opposite of war? The opposite of war is not peace. The opposite of war is creation. Peace means that too often we accept the status quo. So my ex-wife Christina, who's taking care of Eve right now as I'm doing this, she grew up in the Soviet Union. She grew up in Estonia. When the Soviets invaded Estonia, they picked up 300,000 people, roughly 30% of the population, murdered them, shipped them out to the Gulag. My children have great-grandparents who were murdered. And people fell into a scared, frightened peace for a long time, until 89 and 91. Those years when the uprisings began and the Soviet Union was destroyed, as it should have been, and people were finally liberated. You see, the opposite of war is not peace. The opposite of war is creation. Estonia recreated itself and became one of the most incredible countries in the world. I'm actually moving there next month permanently. I'm moving from Malaysia to Estonia because it's just a wonderful place. So you're going to learn how to find your stand. You're going to learn why Colin Kaepernick was right. You're going to learn how to find a mission, and you're going to learn how to be bold. The world doesn't need warriors of light who are too afraid to speak up politically. The world doesn't need people who want to be another health coach or want to be another coach of human consciousness, but is too afraid to stand up to the companies which are pumping out bad food or causing diabetes through awful, unfair marketing practices. And that's what this chapter is about. It's about waking people up so that we can fight for a better world. Buddha was not neutral. Jesus brought a bullwhip to a frickin' temple. Muhammad created revolutions that conquered entire empires. The great spiritual saints, sages, and mystics of the world, from Jesus to Moses to Padmasambhava, were not feeble-minded milquetoast. They were movers and shakers who rattled history with the force of their ego. So said Ken Wilber. So this is what this chapter is really about. And it's actually this is actually the collection of chapters I'm most excited about. Now, as you get that mission, as you find that stand, as you build that Humanity Plus company, we go to part 5. And part 5 this is really chapter 7 and 8. We talk about going from vision to execution. I show you how I structure my life so that I can make decisions easily. I can scale Mindvalley fast. I can, and I can do this without breaking myself, while still getting enough sleep, while not breaking my relationship with my kid, while getting in better health every year. And finally, we go to visionary leadership and activating your new identity. How, as you build these visions, how do you move towards these visions faster? And we're going to talk about that next. So let's go back. Let me stop screen sharing and let's go back to where we were. And I want to read the comments. Awesome. I love that you guys get the concept of activists. I changed my title to CEO activist in 2016 when the US pulled out of the global warming treaty, because one of the things I most care about is planet Earth. And I believe that every CEO, every company has to start making the right decisions to ensure that our products, our services lead to a better world in the future. So I'm a hardcore activist. I believe everyone needs to be an activist. And I'm happy that many of you guys agree. I'm not forcing you. Nowhere here do we say that everybody needs to take a stand. But what I do say is this: I say, look, if you want your business to stand out, take a freaking stand. In a survey of American customers, 75% believe that CEOs and businesses need to take a stand. And that's why this is actually, even if you're selfish and you only care about money, you still want to do this because it'll probably boost your business. I know so many of you are with Mindvalley because, unlike other publishing companies, we always took a stand. We've always been standing up for unity. We've never shied away from what some people label as political. It's because that's just how we roll. And what I'm finding is that it has been remarkable for business because people genuinely want to support companies that want to support the future of humanity. Okay, so that's what's going on. Now, when you read The Buddha and the Badass, now when you understand that, you start seeing why the book is called Buddha and Badass. The Buddha is the green, the badass is the orange. We are bringing both together. We are bringing the desire to create, to disrupt, to build things together with the desire to go within and unleash and tap into your spiritual forces. If you're only spiritual, but you don't get off that damn yoga mat to go and change the world, I'm sure you're benefiting your soul. But what about the other billion souls out there who can benefit from your creation? If you're only a badass and you're not tapping into your Buddha, how do you know that you're producing the goods and service that are actually going to better off the planet? And and you're also probably operating at so much lower than your potential. So you need to combine both the Buddha and the badass. The Buddha and the badass. So someone is saying you combine green and orange, you get brown. Actually, you get the flag of India, right? You don't really get brown. But that's why those two are so important. We want to create more people in the world who are not going to go into endless introspection, but are going to take the insights from that introspection and then use it to shift the world. That's where we're going with this. So I believe the world needs more people who study spirituality and yoga, not because they just want to look good or have a nice yoga butt or eliminate their stress, but because they want to learn to harness these skills to do good service to the world, to lead in a different way, to build in a different way, to run companies in a different way. And that's what the Buddha and the Badass is about. If the Code of the Extraordinary Mind was about making you excellent with your mind, the Buddha and the Badass is about making you excellent, working in teams, building products, building services, building companies that can change the world. Okay, so now we've finished this. I've covered so many different things. And again, I've shown you how you can go deeper in all of these. Okay, so again, the book is literally $7 on Kindle. So if you like those ideas, go straight into the book. You can get it on Amazon. For those of you who have been following my work and you trust me and you know this is going to be a quality piece, please leave me a review on Amazon. That would mean so much to me. Go to the Buddha and Badass page on Amazon and leave me a review. And look, if you think I'm full of shit, leave me a bad review. I'm not asking for good reviews. I'm just asking for honest reviews about how my work may have changed your life, or if you have read chapter 1 of the Buddha and Badass, what did you think of that chapter? But I'd love to get some support from you guys in terms of reviews. And again, Be Extraordinary at Work is $4.99 if you're not part of All Access. If you're part of All Access, you will get it completely free. You do not have to put in $1. But it's going to be coming out in November, December when we finish editing. If you want to be part of that coaching group, then you can get it by buying 5 copies of the book. You'll get that free because that coaching thing is free for like people who support the book launch. Mindvalley.com/Buddha Badass. The coaching works like that. You're going to be joining me for a call twice a week from July 2nd to August 11th. The call is every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay? Every Tuesday and Thursday. We're spending 2 hours together every week for 6 weeks, 12 hours total. I'm going to teach you everything I learned as an entrepreneur. Now, you may be wondering, Vishen, what can I learn from you as an entrepreneur? So here's the basic thing. My biggest accomplishment as an entrepreneur is that I was able to get a business to 100 million in revenue with 0 VC funding. That's an anomaly in today's world. Very few people have done that. And I did that despite losing my US visa, having to relocate to Malaysia and start an American company from halfway across the world. So how I did that was not because I had the most genius mind or I had the best ideas. It was because I always tapped into my Buddha and my badass. And being in personal growth, I got to play around, test out different ideas, learn from some of the world's greatest mentors. Is someone writing an Estonian there? Learn from some of the world's greatest mentors, bring these together and experiment on this in my own life. And I told myself that when I got to that level, if I got a company to 100 mil, I would write a book to help other people on their journey. And this book is for entrepreneurs or intrapreneurs. Intrapreneurs meaning people who are in a company and you love what you do, but you want to go bigger, you want to do more in less time, and you want to make a mark in your company. Okay, so that's what this is about. So yeah, so I hope you like it. Now let's look at some of the other questions. By the way, how is the format going? Again, it's a slightly different format. The visuals, the film recording is so much clearer, as you guys can see, because I have a professional camera, but because it's so big, I have to put it by the side of my computer screen and not in the front. So I have to keep turning like that. Okay, so you guys like this format better than a webcam? Great. Oh, also, I want to show you something. You see all these books over there? So this is the most important bookshelf. So these are all the spiritual books from the age of 14, since I've been reading from the age of 14, that I put into my work. The books that most changed my life go on that shelf. I think I may have showed you one before. This particular book, The Law of Success, this is by Napoleon Hill. Holy crap, guys. This book I read when I was 15 years old. This particular copy is my dad's copy. You can see, look at the price over here, $350, right? Diamond, $350. This book is 42 years old. So, but I keep this. It's in great condition. I keep it on my shelf. You can see the pages are getting kind of yellow because this book was so remarkable. So, you know, if you want to know where my ideas come from, they come from tons and tons and tons of research. This is my original Conversations with God book, Neil Donald Walsh. Again, big influence on my life, now part of Mindvalley. This book, I got it in 1998. So, yeah, these books are a real treasure to me. Somebody said, I feel like I'm in a classroom instead of a webcam. That's good. Okay, let's look at a couple of questions, okay? Okay, so somebody said, I work in a nonprofit. My work is off the charts in meaning and purpose, financially not so much. How do we apply the principles of financial expansion you teach to those of us in the nonprofit sector? Very good point. I used to work for a nonprofit. I met the guy I founded Mindvalley with, also worked at that nonprofit. The woman I married and Eve's mother also worked at that nonprofit. So NGO work was a big part of my life. I worked for a nonprofit called AIESEC, AIESEC. It's a French nonprofit. I led their New York office. And they worked on world peace, on creating cross-cultural understanding among young people to facilitate world peace. So that's why I'm so adamant about activism. Oh, somebody said, when is the Mindvalley dating app launching? Guys, you want to see a glimpse of that? It's coming. Okay. All right. I'm going to come back to the nonprofit question. Okay. I want to show you the upcoming Mindvalley dating app. Let me bring it up on my screen because we are literally working on this, but it's not for dating. Don't go crazy. It's for finding people who can be your allies. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Oh, this is so hilarious. You guys are so desperate. I'm kidding. Wait, let me find the correct screen. Do you guys see it? No. Hang on. Oh, here we go. Okay. So this is actually what we're building. It's called Connections by Mindvalley. And we are launching it out. We're launching it with the first 1,000 students. So what the app lets you do is you will be able to see all other people who are part of the community. And you can connect with people. But what's also happening is soon you'll be able to put your goals into Mindvalley, your journal entries into Mindvalley. We will know what you're interested in studying. And based on that, we'll be able to introduce you to people near you. This is all going to be available to all access. So if you can see who are other people who are taking Lifebook, other people taking WildFit. And one of the most interesting things is that you will be able to get introductions to people nearby. And you can make friendships. So the reason we are creating this is because, think about it, as the world goes into quarantine, campuses are disappearing. I went to the University of Michigan, amazing American school, but they're going to lose, my university is going to lose $1 billion this year because kids are not signing up anymore. Who wants to pay $30,000 a year to go for classes on Zoom? The campus has to be closed. And so we're creating literally a virtual campus for Mindvalley. You can be anywhere in the world. And if you feel lonely, you can hit a button. And based on what we know about you, we'll be able to predict your new best friend. We'll be able to say, Cheryl, we found someone who we believe you're going to connect with deeply. Would you like us to arrange coffee for you at 4 p.m. on Saturday? That's where we're going. Now, we're getting rid of the idea of dating or any of that sort. We are simply doing introductions. Now, in the app, you will also be able to see all the events. So when you come to the app, you can see what's happening today. And we're also going to try an experiment where you will be allowed to create your own events. So you can create a Mindvalley boat trip. If you live by the beach, you can create a Mindvalley meetup, and you can ensure that other All Access members around you can get invited. And so all of this is going to be coming. In short, we are creating a virtual campus for Mindvalley All Access. So here's an example for Lifebook, right? So you can use this to find, based on your category of focus, based on the size of group you want, we can now pair you up in accountability groups. So it's all coming. We are working on the group chat feature, which will allow you guys to create nice little group chats powered on Instagram, so you have accountability buddies. There will be events. You can RSVP for different events. And we're really excited about this. It's going to be coming soon. So this is what it's called. Connections, meet like-minded people and make meaningful connections. What do you guys think? Are you guys excited about an app like this? It's about 6 months away. Okay. Yeah, so this is going to be coming to All Access. By the way, guys, it's going to be completely free. We're going to make All Access better and better and better and better and better and better and better. So I'm so excited that you guys like this. Okay, but the thing I'm going for is to be able to introduce people to their new best friends, because there's so much aching loneliness in the world today. Okay, now to come to that question on how do you raise your financial abundance? All right, so first let's talk about goals, right? So many of us set goals in a slightly opposite way from how many great spiritual teachers advise us. Have you ever heard of the concept of surrender? Have you ever read the book, The Surrender Experiment? And so the book, The Surrender Experiment, was written by the same man, Michael Singer, who wrote Untethered Soul. Untethered Soul became a #1 book in the New York Times. It's a book about the soul. Now, Michael Singer has a really interesting story. He wrote a book called Surrender Experiment because he created a meditation retreat. I believe it was in Virginia. And while doing this meditation retreat, he started dabbling in software. And, he didn't like go deep into building a software company. He would like build a company and then build his ashram. He wanted to create a place for people to meditate, but he ended up getting that company to $1 billion in valuation. And he wrote a book called The Surrender Experiment because what he found is that by surrendering to the universe and following this presence, this guidance, he made a massive impact in the world. So read the book, The Surrender Experiment. It's his story, and it's a powerful book, and it helped popularize this concept of surrendering, not being obsessed with your goals, but surrendering. Now, this, if you think about it, seems really similar to the Buddhist concept of non-attachment. But a lot of people don't understand what non-attachment is. Yes, you're right. It's Gainesville, Florida. It wasn't Georgia. So non-attachment doesn't mean that you don't have goals. Non-attachment means you trust the universe to bring you what you need. Okay? You trust the universe to bring you the exact goal of what you need. Now, what I found is that it's a delicate balancing act. So I have goals because I have a life book. I've shared with you guys my life book. For example, one of my new goals right now. So I'm making a big change in my life. I'm actually moving from Malaysia, which is where I am right now, to Estonia. Which is where my ex-wife Christina is from. My children are Estonian as well. So you met Eve, so she's half Malaysian, half Estonian, and we're moving because the schools here are shut for like the next 8 months. And in Estonia, we know for sure the schools are open, and we feel that it's in the best interest of our children to be able to go to school. So I'm moving there because we made a promise as a couple that we would always live in the same country. And be close, supporting friends and co-parents, even if we were no longer together. So Christina wanted to move to Estonia, and I feel the best way to support her is for me to move as well. So I'm transforming Mindvalley because I have 200 employees over here on how I can function remotely. Somebody asked about the office. We have an office in Estonia. It's a smaller office, but we have one there as well. So I'm happy. But I'm making this big move. So all my goals right now are about finding a new home in Estonia, are about adjusting to a new lifestyle. I'm rewriting so much of my life book because I'm literally changing countries. So I have goals. For example, one of my goals right now is to find a beautiful apartment that's at least 100 years old, because I love old buildings, in the old town of Tallinn. It should have 2 bedrooms. It should have 2 bathrooms. It should have, and so I'm getting, my point here is I'm getting specific, right? So I have this in my life book. But at the same time, this apartment that I want to get is pretty freaking expensive. I want to be able to be the person who can afford the apartment. So I do this. Step 1, I put it in my goal book. I put it in my life book. But step 2, I do this. And this is where the identity upgrading technique, you see, Buddha and the Badass, upgrade your identity. This is where the identity upgrading technique comes in. Now, I was sitting with Michael Beckwith for breakfast in Portugal last year. So Michael Beckwith was speaking at AFES in Portugal. And Beckwith, of course, phenomenal teacher in The Secret. And we started talking about the law of attraction. And I said, hey, in our upcoming masterclass, shall we teach the law of attraction? And Beckwith says, Vishen, yeah, but I want to teach what I think is a more refined version of it. So I said, what do you mean? And he goes, Vishen, I was in the movie The Secret. I love and I honor the law of attraction, and I think it's a powerful tool. But there's a level beyond it that you can teach people to use. And I said, do tell me. And he said, the law of resonance. See, you guys are really good students. He said, the law of resonance. He said, the universe doesn't give you what you want. The universe, rather, will reflect to you who you are. So many people have their wants. Don't do that. Rather, what you need to do is you need to ask yourself, who is the man or woman I have to be to have that thing? So I ask myself, who is the man or woman I have to be living in Tallinn in a beautiful apartment. And I know I need to be a man who can afford um, to go and buy that apartment cash, because I've tried it before. I can't get a bank loan in Tallinn because it's kind of weird, but they don't give bank loans to authors because they believe your royalty is going to be shut down at any time. It's crazy. So I have to pay cash for an apartment. So I have to be a man or woman who can pay cash for a beautiful apartment, which means I have to be a successful entrepreneur, which means I have to be financially well off. Now, also, when I'm in Tallinn, I'm the CEO of a company that's 11 hours by plane away. So I have to be a man. I have to be a man who is used to remote work. I have to be a CEO who can function, who can work from home comfortably, directing a massive company through Zoom and Skype and Google Hangouts. So this become my new identity shifts. So what I do is I now put that in my list. I am financially well off. I'm a CEO who thrives in remote work. I so I put that down. Now I turn that. So now to activate the law of resonance, I need to shift my identity to make those characteristics in me now. Because remember, the universe won't give me an apartment because I want an apartment. However, the universe will shift and give me the reality I want because of who I am. The law of resonance. The universe doesn't give you what you want. The universe gives you who you are. Now, what happens is that I have to implant this in my subconscious. And I do that using lofty questions from Christy Marie Sheldon. So how do you create lofty questions? You take your identity and you turn it into a hypnotic statement to embed in your subconscious. So let's look at that, right? So if you want to be financially well off, you won't say, you don't do affirmations. You don't say, I am wealthy, I am rich, I'm financially well off. Rather, you ask a question to your subconscious. The question would be, for me, the question is this: why am I so good at making, managing, and multiplying money? Making, managing, multiply. See, I use a little alliteration there, so it's easy to remember. Why am I so good at making, managing, and multiplying money? Another lofty question I ask myself is so if you guys may want to take out your iPhone and record this if you want, okay? Another lofty question I ask myself is, why do I have avalanches of abundance falling down on me so all my dreams, intentions, and desires can come true? So my point is, if you're working for an NGO, create a lofty question that brings that identity shift that you want, which is to be financially well off. Now, what happens when you start doing this is really interesting. You actually find your behavior changes. I shared the story in The Buddha and the Badass about how in 2016, so I want to show you something, okay? This is what lofty questions did for me. This is kind of personal, but I don't think this conversation is going to be broadcast anywhere. But just don't screenshot this or share this. So in 2016, I turned 40, and I turned 40 in 2016, and I woke up on my birthday is Jan 14, and I felt rather disappointed in myself because I had failed on all of my health goals. Like literally, I planned to run a marathon before I was 40. I failed. I was chubby. I putting on weight. I was really unfit, and I decided I got to change. So I created a lofty question. Now I want to show you a picture of my body. Okay, so I'm going to get really personal here. Let me just share this screen. So I documented all of this. So this is me, March 21, 2016. So it was January, and I started saying the following lofty question. Why do I have the fit muscular body of an athlete? Why do I have the fit muscular body of an athlete? Why do I have to fit? Now, I'd only asked myself the question once, but in my meditation. Now, it was 2 weeks later that I'm at an event and I see this dude in front of me, Eric Edmeades, getting an award for a program called WildFit, because apparently at this event, so many people are taking WildFit and it had transformed their lives. Eric grabbed this award and he's like, for all of you who are here, now the event is called the Transformational Leadership Council. It's a gathering of America's top 100 wellness and health leaders, including myself. And Eric said, all of you who are here, who never got a chance to do this WildFit thing, I'm going to personally guide you through this process from March 1st to March, April, May to June 1st. It's a 3-month process. Okay, so I thought, well, I've been asking myself this lofty question. Maybe this is the answer. So I signed up for WildFit. But it was 2 weeks between me starting the lofty question and then me meeting Eric. Now, remember, I tried dieting. I put myself on all sorts of different diets and protocols and weight training. I'd signed up for P90X. I'd signed up for Les Mills. I'd gotten a personal trainer. My body looked like that. Now, observe what happened, okay? I started the lofty question on my birthday, Jan 14, because I felt disgusted with myself. And my body had been like that for 10 years. It started changing. You see the change? So this is my photo, March 21. That's my body changing. Look at how much weight I've lost, okay? This is the 9-week difference from April 4th to June 23rd. You can see it's a dramatic shift. And this is my body 2 years later. You can see completely different. So all of this happened because of these lofty questions. So this is sort of like a summary. Before WildFit, after WildFit, and I continued doing the lofty question. I then stumbled upon the guy who had invented 10X, Lorenzo Delano. And turned out he worked for me. He was one of my staff members. So I got him to train me and I started completely transforming my body. So now it's 4 years later and my face has changed. My body has changed. If you look at older pictures of me, I look different. This is Jason Campbell. You'd recognize Jason because he's the host of Mindvalley's Superhuman at Work podcast. Look at his body change. So you see, lofty questions, powerful tool. So now I've used this not just for shifting my body, but you can do this for anything. You can do this for anything. I've shifted my financial life. I've shifted my body. I've shifted my intelligence. I've shifted my ability to speak. You simply implant it into your subconscious, and then your subconscious will bring to you the right people, opportunities, lessons, and ideas. And so what you want to do is you want to create lofty questions for everything in your life that you currently lack. So you want to hear some of my lofty questions? Okay, so by the way, let me share with you some of my lofty questions, okay? So the first, so I now have 36 lofty questions. So you have to memorize them, okay? So the first set have to do with money. I've already shared those with you. The second set has to do, I'm actually going to see if I have it written down so I can copy and paste it there for you guys, okay? I know I have it here somewhere. I've committed it to memory, so it's not so important that I have it written down. Okay, I can't find it, but I'll read it out. I'll say it from memory. First one is, why do I have avalanches of abundance flowing down upon me for all my dreams, desires, and intentions? The second one is, why am I so good at making, managing, and multiplying money? Now, as I've taken the company to where it is, my next goal is to take the company to a unicorn level, which means getting the company to $1 billion in valuation. So I then ask myself the following lofty questions. Why am I the CEO of $1 billion company? Why am I touching 1 billion lives? I then go on to lofty questions that have to do with the lifestyle I want, which also comes from money. So the first set all has to do with money. So what I love is beautiful homes. I'm actually living in this is actually my temporary place. My apartment was being constructed, but when quarantine hit, construction stopped, and I've been kind of homeless actually for the last 3 months. So I really care about a beautiful space, and I'm finally, quarantine has been lifted again. I'm completing my apartment. But my next lofty question is, why do I have beautiful homes in Malaysia, Estonia, London, and Los Angeles? Because these are the 4 cities I want to make my home. Okay, so that's the first set. All have to do with wealth. Now I go on to the second set, which has to do with learning. So here I say, why do I have the fit muscular body of an athlete? Why am I getting younger and younger every year? Why is my body getting healthier and healing itself every month? Now, the next thing I say is really simple. Now, remember, some of your lofty questions can be really simple. The next thing I say is, why am I always surrounded by love? Because there was a time when I felt needy and I felt unloved. Now I always feel surrounded by love, whether it's love from my kids or love from the universe. The next question is, why do I have such a great relationship with Hayden, Eve, and Christina? Hayden and Eve are my children. Christina is my ex-wife and their mother. And we have a great relationship. During quarantine, we're actually living in the same house together. Christina has a room, I have my room. And it's kind of weird because we've been divorced, but we're sharing this home. It's because, well, firstly, my apartment is still being constructed. But secondly, we're great friends. And the kids, they have both parents around. So with all the other disruptions in the world, they are still safe. And my children are so important to me. Now, the next lofty question is, why am I a master manifester? And then why am I such a powerful psychic? And then why am I so blissfully present? And blissfully present is because I was going through a lot of stress and I wanted to be blissful and present, whether I'm teaching or whether I'm working. Okay, so that's the next step. Then I go to lofty questions about my work. So what I say here are things along the line of, why do I have such an incredible team? Why does Mindvalley have such incredible culture? Why are the people I work with so brilliant and so visionary? Because I want to make sure that my work, the company, the team are doing amazingly well. I then set lofty questions for the financial goals of Mindvalley. I say something such as, why is my company performing at this level of revenue, at this level of profitability? Why is life so easy? One of my favorite lofty questions is this: why is the universe always unfolding for me in such a magical way? Why does the universe always have my back? Okay, so when you ask that, so you're right, it's like a gratefulness practice, but the difference is you express gratitude for what you already have. You write lofty questions for who you want to be. And you're implanting them in your subconscious, so your subconscious will find a method to get you there. So almost everything I put down in my lofty question has already happened, except the apartment in Tallinn. I'm still waiting on that. I wonder if there's an Estonian real estate agent in this audience. But a lot of these things are coming true really fast. Okay, now all of us can do that. Lofty questions is somebody said, why am I not looking at the camera? It's just the setup. I have a big film style camera over here, but it's so big I can't put it in front of my screen. So my seeing you guys typing, that's on the screen. I'm seeing your comments, which is why I'm looking left and right. Okay, back to the camera. Okay, so that's how this technique works. Now, by the way, how many of you here do 6-phase meditation? If you do the 6-phase meditation, you want to put the lofty questions in phase 4, okay? Because remember, lofty questions are like 3 years ahead. Phase 4 is when you're seeing your future vision. What I found is that the lofty questions were more powerful for me than seeing a future vision. So I do the lofty questions, but I refined it a bit. Now I do my lofty questions. That takes me about 3 minutes. It's actually the longest part of my 6-phase, but I will pick maybe one question. Maybe it's the apartment in Tallinn, and I'll just spend a little bit of time visualizing myself in that apartment and paying attention to my feelings as I'm in that apartment. Now you can go deeper. If you've studied Be Extraordinary, and if you've finished it, use the merging technique and merge with that vision. That's another more high level manifesting tool. Okay, so that's how this process works. Okay, so we have, thank you guys. We are like significantly over time. I wanted to spend more time with you guys, and we still have 1,300 people here. Okay, so let me answer a couple of questions, okay? Because you guys are all part of All Access, and I hope you're loving it so far, and I'm really excited to see the progress. So first question is, what's the difference between the 6-phase meditation and the M word? The M word is great if you're just starting out in meditation. The M word is focused more on stress, on mindfulness, on presence, on gratitude. The sixth phase is more on performance. The sixth phase doesn't feel like a meditation sometimes. It wires you up. The sixth phase is designed for performance. You can do them both together. But the sixth phase, some people would say, isn't true meditation because it's not so focused on mindfulness. I mean, in reality, the word meditation itself is loosely defined. It simply depends on what you're looking for. If you're really stressed out, if you're new to meditation, do the M word. If you already meditate, but you want to get to the next level and you want to bring meditation into your performance, do the sixth phase. Okay, so that's the first question. Now, the second question is, what's the difference between be extraordinary and be extraordinary at work? Be extraordinary at work. Well, you can read about both of them online on Mindvalley. Be extraordinary at work is mindvalley.com/work. You will find it there. Be extraordinary at work is about applying your spirituality as a leader, as a manager, as an entrepreneur, as an intrapreneur, leading a team, chasing goals, being an activist, running an NGO, starting a company, growing a company. You see, it's very focused on that aspect of your life, the part of you as a creator. So it depends on what you're after. I recommend you do both. Do be extraordinary and then do be extraordinary at work. Oh, so someone said, talk about the beautiful destruction. Beautiful destruction. I speak about it in chapter 9 of this book, which is also where I carry the lofty question. What I say is that when you find your soul print, okay, when you align with your soul print, there will be a time when your soul will spark you to destroy a part of your life so the next great thing can enter. And that part can be a little bit scary. Now, when I found my soul print, one of the great destructions, one of the beautiful destructions I did with Mindvalley is I destroyed an earlier version of Mindvalley. In Jan 2017, I declared that Mindvalley was going to take down over 1,000 personal growth programs. And we were going to focus on just 10 because we discovered this new model called Quest that was working really well. And we said, look, do we want to just sell everything? We want to just focus. We don't want to do that. It's not about the money for us. We want to focus on being the best and creating the best programs. So we took down all our programs. We shut down mindvalleyacademy.com and we started working on Quest. And that was Jan 2017. And people thought I was crazy because who destroys a $10 million business? Well, today we're a $100 million business because that gamble on Quest was the right gamble. And by destroying everything else, I could free up all of this focus to go deep into building a new type of learning, which is the model you guys are on right now, right? And it's so much better. And Quest was so much more popular that so many great teachers came to Mindvalley. Robin Sharma was one of the first great teachers we signed up. And I mean, Robin Sharma is huge. And then John and Missy Butcher created their Quest. But that was my beautiful destruction. I could make that bet because I was so connected to my soul. I knew it was the right decision. And that's what happens when you find your soul print. And yeah, Jim Quick came on then as well. So that's, yeah, exactly. So that's how the beautiful destruction works. And you may find that you may have to destroy your relationship to let the next best thing enter. You may have to leave a country. I'm about to go through another beautiful destruction right now where I'm leaving the country of my birth. I'm 44 years old and I've lived in Malaysia for 44 years. I'm changing my life and I'm moving to Europe. I'm a European resident, so it's not that hard for me. But it's definitely a big step. But I feel so aligned with it, so I trust it. But so when you start applying these lofty questions in your mind, what will happen is that you will be guided to move to the right people, to move to the right company, to move to the right city, where those questions become your true reality. That is what we mean by the beautiful destruction. You guys are such an incredible audience. I'm so enjoying this, and there are so many amazing questions. Guys, I have 389 questions. I'm so sorry I couldn't answer all of them. So I'm going almost with my feeling and reading the comments. And yeah, and thanks, Anastasia. I'm just speaking from my heart and what I'm feeling right now. Okay, there are lots of other interesting questions which are here. But we'll come to this in due time. One of the things I'm considering doing is doing maybe every 2 months or so, a conversation with you guys where I can take you through the new products in Mindvalley, the new things we are building, the new videos and content available to you so that we can go further and further. Okay. There is another really cool innovation, which I cannot wait to show you. It's going to be coming up soon. Those of you who did Silver Ultramine are really, really, really going to love this. We'll be releasing it in about a month, and you guys will be some of the first people to know. So yeah, check it out. You wait for me to tell you about it. In the meanwhile, go to mindvalley.com/Buddha Badass. Let me show you what that looks like. And I want to show you how to get the free copy of Be Extraordinary at Work. So you can see my screen right now. So you want to go to mindvalley.com/Buddha Badass. Okay, now this is how the bonuses for the book work. So it's really, really, really easy. Go here, check out the trailer. There's tons of information here on the book if you want to read what it's about. But you guys already know what it's about, so you can go right over here. Now, if you buy the hardcover book, okay, you can just click here and then you can choose where you want to buy it from. And then wherever you buy it from, just enter your receipt number from Amazon. If you can't find it, just put, I can't find it. We trust you. And then what will happen is that you will get the following bonuses. You will get the book on pre-order, and you will get access to my Inner Circle community. My Inner Circle community is basically just a community where I give talks like this, like once a month or so. Okay, so if you enjoyed this conversation, you'll get more of that in that Inner Circle community. Now, if you buy 5 books, oh, and by the way, the other thing you'll get when you enter the receipt number is while waiting for your hard copy book from Amazon, you will get a PDF of chapter 1, so you can go straight into the soul print exercise. Now, if you want to get Be Extraordinary at Work, which is this program, it's at /work. It's a remarkable program. It's $4.99 because remember, it's live coaching, but you don't have to buy it. Just buy 5 copies of the book. It's $167 with shipping. This is only in the USA. If you're outside the USA, then just email orders at Book Highlight and they'll figure out how to get it to you. There's a big problem right now with shipping globally. It's just really, really, really like messy right now. So unfortunately, because this is a book by an American publisher, Mindvalley is an American company, it was so hard to even be able to deliver this to Canada. So you have to email orders at bookhighlight.com if you're outside. If you're outside North America, if you're in the US or Canada, you can get all 5 books shipped to you for $167, which means you get BE for Work, the coaching version, for $167, and you get 4 extra books that you can give to friends. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy that. And thank you so much. I'm hoping this book makes the New York Times. So if you can, if you enjoyed this conversation, what I ask is please share this. Please share an Instagram of the book. And if you can, go to Amazon.com and leave a review. On how Amazon works is you can leave a review on me as an author. If you trusted my work before and you want to recommend me, you can leave a review on the book if you finish even chapter 1. But I'm asking for an honest review. If you think it sucks, you can say that, right? But reviews matter, and reviews really help when you're an author. So thank you, guys. I'm amazed there are 1,200 of you in the call. I enjoyed this immensely. I hope you did too. And I hope you guys learned a ton. Can I ask a question? So firstly, we'll end the call here because I don't want to go over time, but I'd love to know, paste in comments your single biggest insight or the insight that you liked most that you got out today. This helps me refine the training. And yes, you can leave a review on Apple or iBooks or Amazon.com. Either way. Speak in codes, lofty questions. I like that. Resonance, lofty questions. Cool. Love it. Awesome, guys. This is really cool. This is great feedback. Oh my God, that's a lot of comments. It's so fast, I can't even read that as fast as I'd like to. But I'm gonna download the comments. Okay, so I see a lot of people love lofty questions, and you love the law of resonance. Awesome. Some people say they love the fact that I'm moving to Estonia. I wonder if there are any Estonians in here. I'd love to do a meetup actually when I'm in Estonia with people in the All Access group. Somebody said come to London. Well, actually, I'm going to be moving to London in about 1 or 2 years. Estonia is temporary, but I'm going to be moving to London because I need to be in a larger city for me to build a team and grow the company and so on. Amazing. Yeah, I can't wait to do. I can't. No, I so enjoyed this, and the community here is so freaking cool. I would love to do meetups in cities I'm in. Fortunately, I can't do one here in Malaysia because the government has there's a cap because of quarantine. You can't have gatherings, I think, of more than 20 people. But in Europe, I know it's a lot freer, and in America, I know everything is wide open right now. Do you know we did a meetup in LA? Like 150 people showed up. We were crammed in this tiny little restaurant in Los Angeles. This was after Mindvalley reunion, but it was so much fun. And I love the fact that you guys are excited about the Connections app. Okay, I'm gonna go to sleep because tomorrow at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. New York time, me and Jim Quick are going live to talk about the book. You'll find that following me on Instagram or following Jim Quick. And so I gotta get to bed. And I'm gonna go check out what you guys are saying about the book on Amazon. I'm really excited about that. It's always the most nerve-wracking thing for an author to do. Okay, good night, guys. Take care.